Good afternoon. It's the 25th of March. We're entering the Easter week. Happy Easter weekend. We're wrapping up Women's Month, so we do want to say Happy Women's Month one last time. What a delight to have you join us on Market View with me, Sifiso Ngumalo, yet again. And as always, I will ask that you stay with me over the next half an hour as we look at some of the developments that are happening around the nation's economy and how they feed into the overall sustainable economic growth of the country. Today, our business journalist deployed to the ground to look at the work done by the International Trade Center into training women on agribusiness value chains. It is under a program called She Trades. We want to look at that program. We'll hear from some of the people working under the International Trade Center. We want to hear from the institutional sustainable expert, who is Bongani Simelane, on what really prompted the initiative. And then we will develop that conversation with Nelsie, where we'll wrap things up with an analysis of the financial markets of the day. We'll do that with our economist, Sanele Sibia. But for now, let's start the show with our business news.
Renewal of TV licenses for 2024 is now open. Here is a quick reminder. A viewer's TV license costs 180 emalangeni per device. Other accessories such as decoders and set-top box cost 50 emalangeni per device. For traders and repairers, TV license costs 300 emalangeni per business area. And now, to pay your TV license, use these following methods. You can use MTN Mobile Money with the number 76222000 or dial *007 *3 *7 hash. Or you can use Eswatini imali. And you can pay our TV license at any post office in the country. Another option is you can use any NetBank branch using our TV license account number 119900430037. Don't forget, when paying for your viewer's TV license, reference with your PIN at all times. And when paying for a retailer TV license, reference with your TIN at all times. For more information, call us on 7802-4543 or 34050163 or 34020879. And you can send us a WhatsApp message on 762222000.
It's 5 minutes after 2. Welcome back to the program. We'll start our news with a business coming from the Youth Chamber. The Ministry of Commerce, Industry and Trade has advised the youth to first register trading licenses instead of companies to avoid high costs of company registration. Now, this was said by the Assistant Youth Promotional Officer at the Ministry of Commerce, Industry and Trade. This was during the Youth Business Forum by Mbabane City Council at Mountain View in Mbabane.
Mini from the Mbabane City Council says there has been minimal improvements when it comes to youth in business.
As a city council of Mbabane, we have this program. It runs annually. It's called a business forum, in particular focusing on the young entrepreneurs asedolobheni. It complements the initiative whereby we have a capacity building program where we train our young entrepreneurs on what it takes or what requirements should they have to be professional entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs starting from informal up until they are formal, which calls for a growth path when you are talking to development. We have this program annually because we realize that we still have challenges. Young people are still unemployed in the city. You will recall statistics from CSO that of the population Yakangwane, almost 50% still are unemployed. And this requires other interventions by all stakeholders, which is the municipality in this case, to say, how can we assist the young person out there to develop himself, to earn a living, to sustain a living? And entrepreneurship is one of the gateways which we are exploring in this case. The reason why we have a business forum on an annual basis is that it gives us feedback on my interventions to say, after the training, are you realizing some growth? Where are the challenges? How can council support? How can government support? From our audience, we have the Minister of Commerce, we also have a youth council and the youth fund. Why we bring them together is that the issues that young entrepreneurs face are cross-cutting. They might be from the financial space, they might be from the policy space and institutional space. We also have the youth chamber, which is a voice for these young persons to say, if ever there is a need for advocating for policy change from government, young people are complaining to say, yes, we are aspiring young persons, but we are not given the opportunity to be part of the procurement chain, Yahulumende. So they cannot just be integrated like that. They have to be trained. What does it take for you to be an entrepreneur? So we then take them through. You have to be registered. You have to have a trading license. You have to comply with ERS. You have to comply with ENPF. All of those things, we bring them or we make them aware. It's just not an overnight thing. There will be challenges. You have to raise money so that you get all of these things in order for you to be part of a procurement, to be part of the procurement chain. In a nutshell, it's a feedback session, appreciating the challenges that are being faced by young people. How can we support? Where are the hurdles? What opportunities are also there to them?
President of the Youth Chamber of Commerce Industries Eswatini, Sakile Nzibande, says they need to do more to help the youth.
So the event today is for youth businesses within the Mbabane municipality and youth that are looking to do business within the municipality too. So we invited them here today to actually explore the different opportunities that they can find in the Mbabane city area to explore as young business people.
Why Mbabane? Is there anything, did you see a number of youth not having, their businesses not prospering? What happened?
So the Mbabane Youth Forum is actually an initiative by the municipality that was also done last year. So I guess through their relations with the Youth Chamber of Commerce and Industries, they see it as a key area in addressing youth businesses that at the beginning of every year, they actually do an event of this nature so that to help the youth to structure themselves in how to position themselves within the municipality towards having higher output businesses.
So you've actually had a chance to listen to some of the presentations. As Youth Chamber, what is it that you've taken from the presentations and what are you going to do about some of the challenges that are faced by the youth?
The Youth Enterprise Revolving Fund has previously said the youth needs more technical support in their businesses as most struggle with sustainability. For Market View, Nelson Dlangamandla, Sifiso Ngumalo, Mbabane.
The Bankers Association has explained that the new Common Monetary Area cross-border payment arrangement will provide clear data on money sent from Eswatini to other countries under the organization, which are South Africa, Namibia, Lesotho. They say that this will also prevent money laundering. This was said by the Chief Executive Officer, Zakele Lukele, who has said that the changes that come with the new arrangement on cross-border payments will indeed be beneficial.
The more noticeable changes for Eswatini will be will be coming on at the end of September. The changes that are coming through will impact initially payments between us and Namibia, because there will be changes between Namibia and South Africa in terms of the channels in which we send money to other countries within the Common Monetary Area. It has come to the need from this is due to a need from our regulators that cross-border payments be made through channels which have been designated for this purpose. In the past, some of the payments have been treated within domestic channels and also within inter-bank arrangements. But now the channels will be streamlined. In fact, initially the channel that will be used is called RTGS. It's housed by the South African Reserve Bank. So all cross-border payments will now go through the RTGS, but this will affect the channels that are below 5 million, because so far all payments within which are above 5 million are already going through the RTGS channel. From the 15th of April, Namibia and South Africa have agreed that they can implement the change. But for us and Lesotho and South Africa, the change will come at the end of September. The reason that there will be an impact on transfers even from the 15th of April is because the change between South Africa and Namibia will also affect transfers that come between Eswatini and Namibia, because all these payments are routed through the same channel, which is the RTGS in the Reserve Bank. So the banks are working on making sure that even though these changes will affect some of the transfers, but customers should not be negatively impacted. I must stress that the changes will, of course, impact the way that transfers are made, and then they will also have an impact on the times and also the cost of making transfers, because the banks will now be using different channels which have been designated for this purpose. The reason to change these channels is because of is to comply with regional and international regulatory requirements.
We first looked at the first story. We want to discuss with Nelsiwe and Langamandla the barriers around youth getting into business. There's a conversation that they also need to really uptake the opportunity that is there within cooperatives, at least that allows them to come together and share a common vision, and particularly looking at our high youth unemployment. Surely that should help. Nelsiwe, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
We will discuss the first development around, the youth entering the business industry. There are a lot of red tapes and, a lot of challenges that the youth have already pronounced, particularly from the workshop, that is ongoing today. But firstly, I just want to hear how much it excites you to see youth come together in one room, in one setting, and really discuss things that can really develop them within the industry of business.
Thank you so much, Sifisong Vuselene Mbugele Khaya. It's really encouraging to see Bamfla Basha basonzela bona batikhulumela tindzaba tabo, because now Bugalana is the Youth Chamber of Commerce Industries. Ihlangene na masipala, ihlangene na letinye tinhlangothi letitsinzekako kunabo WeThat. Lapho khona babuka khona ukuthi njengobe sekashito uhulumende lucwaningo lakhe liveta ukuthi Bamfla Basha, they are not able to sustain their businesses. So bahlangene bathite asesibuke ukuthi what can we do? Lokuvela kakhulu lapha indzaba yekwe ukuthi Bamfla Basha ukhanza ukuthi abayati kahle lemithetho leyengamele emabhizinisi, abakwati kahle kuchuba lamabhizinisi abo ukuthi akhone kwenta inzuzo lebonakalako. So what they are trying to do now, nasimbuta nje sakhile uchazile ukuthi sitawuzama ukuthi lemithetho siyibuke ukuthi ihamba kanjani, so that Bamfla Basha batoba baningi laba benefitako. Simkhulumisile EIPA wakhuluma ukuthi small medium enterprises la eveni it's about 4,200, but ukhanza ukuthi laba exportako they are about 200, kanti lamaningi ukhanza ukuthi Bamfla Basha lokuyinombolo lencane kakhulu. Lokusho ukuthi if young people are taking it upon themselves ukuthi bayisukumele le business, kuyakhuthata kakhulu lokho.
I'd say a nugget that was shared to them regarding registration of businesses is that they advised that they should register for trading licenses and not necessarily companies. Was that explained why they should go for that approach?
Yes, nayichaza Ministry of Commerce ithi kulula ku register i-trading license because yona ayibiti kakhulu, njengoba Bamfla Basha sakhile uyachaza President waka Youth Chamber ukuthi ukhanza ukuthi bamfla basha banebulukhuni bekubhalisela inkampani kanti ngala ka trading license ukhanza ukuthi khona kuba bo 250 emalangeni. The Ministry of Commerce is doing something because ivile indvuna yaka commerce isho ukuthi seba betama indlela yokuthi kwakona lokuregistela ikhampani la eveni for ease of doing business salokuba melula kube le cost ibe incane kakhulu so that more young people and emaswati nje onke angakhona lokuthi abe netinkampani atokhona ukuthi achubeke adlondlobala.
You speak of WITAD being another stakeholder that was present at the forum. We have seen the culmination of women in trade and development and what they've been doing for women, particularly in remote areas. But what I really like about WITAD is the fact that it's a cooperative. And, you know, a lot of young people have been in the industry of business trying to venture into it as entrepreneurs or intrapreneurs, whatever. But there seems to be this new advice, particularly coming from Bonalabo WITAD, as people that have empirical evidence now, they've existed, and they are reaping fruits of existing now. They are cooperatives, and you can't be alone in a cooperative. How difficult is it for the young people? I'm sure this is some of the things that they ask Bonalama keynote speakers that they would see. Sharing the same vision. If we're going to start a cooperative, Sviso, Nelly, say maybe with Bangalis, so the three of us, we need to share a common vision. How difficult is it there now to speak in one voice to make sure that we share the same goal and we can reap the benefits of you know, being in that cooperative?
Young people, Nyalo, are starting to see that it's important to work together. We've got the National Cooperatives Alliance. Yebanfla basha iSnika. Lapho khona beyikhona nayo kulo mhlangano lona. Lapho khona banfla basha bahlangene babuka ukuthi ngabe bangenda njani njengoba WITAD uchazile ukuthi uma ngabe umuntu ayedwa ukhanza ukuthi lo munye ule emakhaya kanzi nale financing ilula kwekuthi uyithole nangabe ukule cooperatives. So they are saying ukuthi they are encouraging that we've got Esnika lothi lowe banfla basha lo se ucucutela tinhlangano te banfla basha letahlukene ukuthi no asihlangane sibe cooperative so that isikhona ukuthi timfo tethu nasitibamba sitibambe tigcine.
The Bankers Association, Nelsiwe, what an exciting development. We just saw Mr. Lukele explaining the CMA cross-border arrangement. He explained it. One wants to ask you know, themselves. We've seen the EFT, and you know, it has been praised for the many innovations that it came with. What does this particular innovation now come with that should excite us as Emaswat? You mentioned there's Lesotho, there's Eswatini, there's South Africa, some of these countries, and you know, with the developments that are happening in trade, particularly the one we were speaking about last week, what APA is doing with the, you know, businesses, encouraging them to trade, and the opportunities culminating under all of that, the African Continental Free Trade Agreement and all the protocols under it, really. How much should we be excited about this CMA cross-border payment system? What kind of ease of business does it come with?
Lokumcoka kakhulu kule CMA, according to the CEO babeza khele kwekuthi nyalo live leSwatini conform to lama laws a common monetary area, because uma ngabe singaconform ina lama laws a common monetary area utawukhanza ukuthi sesiya blacklist wasilive lokungayi affecta kakhulu i-trade. Kanti ke ngakulokunye uchazile lokwekuthi njengoba sekutawuhamba mhlambe imali for example ngaSwift kutawusita kwekuthi sivikele labo money laundering laba lebe batawukwenda ukuthi live mhlawumbe ligcine selibukeka kabi sekutawuba ne data kwekuthi okay Sifiso Ncumalo nang uthathe imali wayisendele eNingizimu Afrika njengoba ushido nekwekuthi nyalo na usendile nje imali bekungabonakali kahle lokuthi imali deliver leSwatini tihamba kanjani kanti nakwatiwa lokusileta imali tiphuma tingena la eveni kanjani tawusita kakhulu nekuthi kube naleyo data letawukhona live kuyi consolidate sathi nekuthi phela trader kangakanani sibosoma business.
Indeed, Nelly, thank you so much for joining us and providing your insights. I love the passion that you're speaking with. They want to go for an ad break. We speak to Sanele Sibia, he's our economist. After the break, we're just curious. We're seeing the Dow Jones Industrial Average today trading lower, as well as the S&P 500 trading lower. Let's discuss all of that with Mr. Sibia after the break.
Be sure to catch Business Watch every Wednesday between 2 p.m. to 3 p.m., where we feature the latest updates on business news, market trends, and exclusive interviews with industry leaders, as well as insights on emerging small and medium enterprises in the commercial sector. Business Watch, your business leader.
Ujala masoda mahle kunathi lesa.
sabatandi ukuthi njengaloku
Sivile sive sitikhulumeni.
Welcome back to the program. Let's connect with our economist, Sanele Sbia, through a virtual link. He joins us on Zoom. Mr. Sbia, a very good day. It's a cold day. I hope you're warm wherever you are. And hopefully some of the discussions that we'll have today at our particularly looking at the financial markets of the day. I want us to start by looking at gold today. JP Morgan says, is it a golden era for gold as it hits new records despite no rate cuts? What is happening around that?
Siyabonga Nxumalo, and good afternoon to babukeli. So logo Nxumalo, what we are seeing right now is the markets getting ready for rate cuts, and also taking into consideration it's not something that will happen in the current. So in the current, gold is still one of the safe havens that investors are really going into until and unless we get clear signals that we are cutting interest rates this year. Right now, it's still speculation depending on how will the market go, because it might change. If we see some things that might push inflation up again, then we might find ourselves in this type of situation for a bit longer. So right now, that is why gold is performing literally better. And you will see there's been sell-offs in the tech sector. So all of those things are making the market to be a bit skeptical right now.
Markets a bit lower today. There's been profit warnings around Kingfisher sleeping. What is really affecting that particular market?
So it could be one of two things, Nxumalo. It could be the fact that we are seeing it's going to be a very short week on Wall Street. It's going to be a very short week. And then again, two very short weeks. So the markets have to factor that into play and see how that is going to play and how that is going to come out in the market going forward. But then also there's an issue that happened when you just circle back to the US, you will see that Mark Zuckerberg and the Amazon CEO, they both sold quite a large chunk of their shares last week. So that also sent shivers into the market in terms of what to expect is the tech boom coming to an end. Because now all the gains we were seeing were mostly coming through the tech sector, which again, sell off, then that sends a bit of a chill into the market. So that's why we are seeing these very low numbers coming out of Europe, and actually all across the world, the numbers are very low today.
I wonder, as you speak about Mark Zuckerberg, Meta, he owns Meta, but there's also Apple, Tim Cook and his group there. They've also, launched a probe with Meta, as well as Alphabet under the sweeping new tech law. Does that affect the market?
Oh, yes, that does affect the market, because when you look at what is happening in the tech sector, more especially in the social media space, there's there's a heavy move to actually try to regulate the space. Recently, we were talking about the issue TikTok in the US, and then you look into Europe again. There's been quite a number of regulations that have come into play, and then recently we saw the Senate saying they're going to come hard at Apple because Apple has actually created a monopoly. So all of those issues coming into playing into the market and really now affecting the tech sector because they seem now to be getting targeted quite a lot.
I want us to look at the top U.S. markets today. Trading lower is the Dow Jones. I mentioned it before we went, for an ad break. But the Nasdaq Composite Index is trading higher. But the S&P 500, Yona, joins the Dow Jones Industrial Average by trading lower. What is affecting all of these markets?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think what is happening there is the issue of the sell-off that we are seeing. When the top executives in the companies that are leading the pack are actually selling their shares, that sends a signal to the market to say, are we really nearing the peak? Are we really nearing the end of this prosperous future on Wall Street that is being driven by the tech sector? So lower than that's the major thing that the markets are pricing in. And also the fact that this is going to be a very long week coming up. It's going to be a very short week, and a lot of the economic data is going to be coming in on Friday, which is going to be a holiday. So now that also has an effect in terms of how the markets are going to price risk a priori or improve risks afterwards. So that is why we are now seeing markets trying to be a bit cautious, not overselling.
Let's just get straight into currencies, because I think we've analyzed the top U.S. markets. We've also looked at what is happening in Europe. We're just wondering how all of that now factoring into affecting how Lilangeni stands today as compared to the top currencies of the world.
When you look at currencies, you will see that Lilangeni against the dollar is edging closer to the 19 mark. It was trading at 18.95 earlier today, or 18.96. And also we are seeing the Lilangeni being a bit weaker again against the euro and also against the Japanese yen. We've seen some strength coming through the Japanese yen. But in terms of the major currencies, we are seeing that Lilangeni lethu kulamalanga liya a bit closer. But lokho sikubangelwa nako ukuthi imakethe wonke emhlaba wonke is now preparing for a much brighter future. So we are seeing ukuthi the US, the growth prospects in the US were not actually affected by the numbers. Same thing when you look at Europe. And today, Germany woke up to very good news, having secured one of the biggest contracts in terms of my battery and my electronic vehicles. So all of those signals are sending a message that says, even though the German economy was somehow in a fix, it's now going to get better. So that's what we are dealing with, the issues that are forcing or that are making the Lilangeni trade a bit weaker today compared to the global markets because of those growth prospects and the prospects of a cut in the interest rates. Yes.
Mr. Sbiya, thank you so much for your insights. This Monday morning we'll be with you for the rest of the week. So babukeli abajabule ukuthi provided with those insights. We've come to the end of our program for the day. Thank you so much for staying with us. Let's see you again tomorrow. Have a good day.
Four suspects appeared before the Russian courts. They're believed to be the gunmen who carried out the attack. Facing charges of terrorism, they could receive life imprisonment and will be remanded in custody as a pre-trial restriction. 2 of the suspects were stopped at the wheel of this car after a chase on Friday night. The other 2 were later detained. Meanwhile, at the scene of the attack, the investigation is ongoing. Russian officials say they found an automatic weapon, vests with spare magazines and bullet casings.
Investigations are underway with the suspects in the terrorist attack. The bodies are still being identified. At present, the bodies of 137 people, including 3 children, have been found at the site. So far, 62 have been identified.
The assailants are also alleged to have detonated explosives, causing the fire that has complicated work for the investigative team. In a televised address, President Vladimir Putin said that 11 people had been arrested, including the 4 gunmen who have been identified as citizens of Tajikistan. Amid the allegations, Putin spoke on the phone with the leader of Tajikistan and discussed the fight against terrorism. The Islamic State group has claimed responsibility for the attack, and with more than 130 victims, it is the deadliest day of terror in Russia in decades.
Now, the French President Emmanuel Macron said the group behind the attack in Moscow had tried to hit targets here in France. He's now calling for increased cooperation with Russia. Macron also cautioning Russian officials not to link Friday's attack to Ukraine.
This group is, it seems, implicated in this attack and appears to have, over the past few months, made several attempts to attack in our own territory. So, knowing these intentions and the potential ramifications, we have decided to increase the anti-terrorist patrols. This is coherent